So you're sending emails to your list, but are they connecting? Or maybe you have a whole list of people you've been avoiding emailing because you aren't sure what to say and you don't want to be just one more thing cluttering someone's inbox. If that sounds like you, then you are in for a treat because today I've got the fresh princess of email marketing herself, Liz Wilcox, here to help make email marketing feel easy. Liz helps small businesses package up your unique magic and turn it into emails that people want to read and, most importantly, purchase from. Today, Liz is sharing how you can write your weekly emails in 20 minutes or less, how to build trust that turns your subscribers into buyers, and so much more. Let's get into it because you do not want to miss this conversation. Are you a digital product or course creator selling on platforms like Teachers Pay Teachers, Etsy, or your own website? Ready to grow your business, but not into the kind of constant hustle that leads straight to burnout? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to The Savvy Seller. I'm Kristen Doyle, and I'm here to give you no fluff tools and strategies that move the needle for your business without burning you out in the process. Things like SEO, no stress marketing, email list building, automations, and so much more. Let's get started, y'all. Hey, Liz, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. I can't wait to talk email, all the things. I'm really excited. I love this podcast because honestly, I love selling and I consider myself pretty savvy. So by the end of this episode, you listening feel the same way.
You definitely are a savvy seller for sure. Well, let's dive straight in. Of course, email marketing is your whole big thing, and you are so good at it. I have learned so much from you. So I'm just super excited to dive into talking about our emails and really focusing on those weekly emails that we have to send out week after week to connect with our audience. Those can feel sometimes just daunting and like another thing on the to-do list that we have to make time for. But they are so important. And I've heard that you are recently saying we should only spend 20 minutes writing our emails every week. Can you tell me how on earth that is possible?
Yeah. So first, let's talk about what the weekly newsletter is. This is something you manually send out. This isn't evergreen content that is automated. It's, okay, I need my email to be sent out on Tuesday. It's Monday night. It's Tuesday morning. What am I going to write? And yeah, I feel like you probably shouldn't be spending too much time, 20 minutes at best. And here's why. Our inbox is inundated with all sorts of emails, right? Like raise your hand if you've got over 1,000 unread emails, right now, right? And the problem that I see a lot of entrepreneurs and online business owners making is they try to make this weekly newsletter like a church brochure, like an actual newsletter that has 1,000,001 things. But when you couple that with, I've got these emails from somebody I thought I already unsubscribed from. How did this spam come through? There's my doctor's note. There's my electric bill. Mm-hmm. Oh, what does Kristen have to say? There's Liz, right? We don't want to be just another thing that's too much for them. Oh, I know what's inside that, or I know it's going to be long. I know I'm not going to be able to look at all the stuff Liz sent me today. I'll save it for later. And we all know later means
never happens.
Never, right? And so I really recommend this 20-minute framework, which is super simple. And Kristen, should I go into it right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So just have a greeting, hey Liz, hey Shahara, and then share a personal update. A lot of email marketers will tell you to share stories here. But again, we want to respect the inbox. It's a newsletter, not a novel. Mm-hmm. So just get in, get to the point, and get out. So a personal update is just that little bit of connection. What is something you did since the last time you emailed your subscribers? This is, when you call somebody on the phone and you have, you want to ask how mom is doing, but you have to ask like, how you doing? Oh yeah, I took the dog for a walk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's talk about mom now, right? It's that little chit chat. And I recommend this because it is also the way we connect. I've often heard advice of like, cut out the chit chat in your newsletters. But I'm saying no, put that chit chat in, put that little nuanced conversation in, because that's how people connect. That's how you can share that you are relatable. You are invested in them. So again, it's just that greeting, a short personal update, 2 to 3 sentences since the last time you emailed them, and then just segue into the content. Whether you want to share your new podcast episode, you want to share something you saw on Facebook that you found was really valuable, you have a new article, you've got a new printable for people, you have a new product, you're running a flash sale, whatever the heck you've got going on that week or you want to share, put it in there. And I did use the word segue, which you might think, I'm terrible at segues. My English teacher was always screaming at me about them. But remember, this is the inbox. This isn't an essay. It's not a novel. Just hit that caps lock button, type the word anyway, ... What I really wanted to talk to you about is my new podcast episode. It features Liz Wilcox, all on 20-minute newsletters, blah, 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 any other details you want to put in, and then get out of there. That is the 20-minute newsletter framework.
I love that. And I love that it starts with that little personal connection, because it is just so important for a little bit of our personality to be in our emails, for us to build a connection with people. And I will say the emails I write that have that some little personal update, a book I've been reading, I've did this thing at the gym and my knee is killing me now, whatever it is. Those are a lot of times I get really good replies back from people. And that's such a good way to just build connection with the people on your list. They might not ever reply to talk to me about my podcast episode, but they'll reply to talk to me about a book I'm reading. And then they'll still tune in to check out the podcast episodes and all the other things.
Right. So within email marketing, and when you do it right, it does these things. And I've kind of dropped them before. So number one, it shows that you are invested in your subscribers. This is why weekly newsletters are so important. It's not enough to just, show up every once in a while when you have something to sell. No one will invest in you and your products and services before they know you are invested in them, right? Mm-hmm. So sending that weekly newsletter and even putting in a little bit of that personal update shows you're invested. Hey, I saw this and thought of you. I made this, podcast episode available because that's my number one question, right? So sharing that you are invested is going to help them invest right back into you. The second thing is making sure you're relatable. It helps you to start relating to your people. If I said, before I recorded this podcast episode, I had a sneezing attack. I had to re-record this 3 times. Kristen just smiled because that's so relatable to her, right? If she's my ideal.
Like that.
Right.
Happen.
We've all had something happen. Even, I just took my dogs for a walk in the rain. Even if I don't have any dogs, I know, I can see my neighbor right now walking in the rain with her dogs. Mm-hmm. I'm relating to you. Something I use in my emails a lot is 90s and 2000 pop culture. I've got NSYNC in the background right here. I mention them a lot. I love Seinfeld. I'm actually wearing a Seinfeld hat right now.
I love it.
I love that show, Survivor. I talk about that. The tribe has spoken. And so people relate me to that sort of, timeline, right? And so even when they're maybe in the car going to carpool and an NSYNC song comes on, suddenly they're thinking about Liz Wilcox. Suddenly they're remembering, oh crap, I didn't write my weekly newsletter. And so inserting those pieces into your weekly newsletter with that personal update or with the description of your content is really important so that you stay top of mind. So again, that showing them you're invested in them, sharing that you're relatable to them, and staying top of mind. That's the purpose of the weekly newsletter. And you can do it so simply with that 20-minute framework we just gave you.
Yeah, it's so easy to just find something to share. I think a lot of times we overthink it. I know I do anyway. I overthink like, okay, what is a story from my life this week? What has happened that I can talk about that's going to relate to this podcast episode or relate to this offer I'm sharing? But it doesn't always have to be this perfect tie-in.
Yeah, amen. And I love that Kristen said, oh, that's interesting. That's relatable. Listen, you don't have to be interesting in your newsletters. You just have to be what we just talked about, relatable, right? There's a difference between being interesting and being relatable.
Yeah.
I could have come on here and said, oh, I actually was on that show Survivor. I got 4th place. It was awesome. That's a very interesting thing about Liz Wilcox.
Right.
But you know what? It's not relatable. I doubt anyone listening to this podcast has been on a reality show, has almost won $1 million in front of 125 countries internationally. That's not relatable
right.
at all.
Although they might have watched
how I said, right. You know how I said, oh, I love that show Survivor. And suddenly you're starting to think about it. Oh yeah, I used to watch that back in the day. That show's still on, and it gets your wheels spinning. I didn't actually have to be interesting. I didn't have to tell that story Kristen said she's racking her brain to find to relate to you. And so a big mistake I see with your newsletters is just trying to be interesting when you should be focusing again more on just trying to be relatable. Oh, I spilled mustard on my shirt. My fridge broke down. I was in the middle of recording and, the Amazon guy came and rang my doorbell and it ruined the entire thing because I have 3 dogs. Those are not like very interesting things. They're nothing you would write a novel about. But remember what I said 10 minutes ago? It's a newsletter, not a novel.
Right. And those things are so real as opposed to, let me tell you this story that's going to tie perfectly into the thing I'm going to say in a minute. And then people wonder if that story even actually happened or if you made it up so it would tie in. But I think people they like to get to know us as people and to feel like, oh, she's just like me. Like she goes out on a walk with her dog and it suddenly starts pouring rain too. She gets interrupted by the Amazon driver, who, by the way, very quietly walked up to my door just a second ago and did not ring the doorbell, thank goodness.
What a gem they are.
Right? We all have those things, and they're just so real. People like to see that we have things that aren't perfect in our lives, too. I think everything, at least for a little while, it felt like everything we put out had to be so polished and perfect all the time. And I just love that we're embracing being a little more real now.
Yeah. And the one thing you got to know about selling is people buy from people they trust. And who do they trust? People they can relate to. Like Kristen just said, people who they think, oh, this person is real. They care about my problems. They know what it's like, right? And I love, love, love that we live in this modern market where we get to choose. We have a lot of buying power. We can choose to buy from Kristen or a big box store, right? But where is the money going right now? A lot of people, especially now, are choosing to revert back to the real person, right? I can see where my dollars go when I purchase with Kristen. So the savvy seller knows that people buy from people they trust and they work really hard. And again, this is why weekly newsletters are important to, build that know, like, trust factor. And you can do it with those weekly newsletters.
Yeah. And I am just as guilty as anyone else of sometimes backing off of those. In fact, I have to write one today because I did not send a weekly email last week because I just got done promoting something. And sometimes it just feels like, okay, I'm tired. I need a week.
Yeah. Well, I love that she just brought that up because when you do a big promotion, you can take a week off. And the thing about staying top of mind, and of course I've been recommending weekly newsletters left and right here, but when your person knows just how relatable you are, when they know how invested you are in them, you can take a week off after a promotion or during a holiday, or you're going on vacation and you tell people, hey, I'm going on vacation. I didn't write a newsletter, I'll see you in 2 weeks or whatever, right? The important part is they know that you're invested. They know that you're relatable because that's how you stay top of mind.
Yeah.
That's how, like Kristen said, I can take a week off after promotions. My people know I'm there for them. I'm still top of mind because I'm so consistent, because I am, doing promotions, sharing my best offers with them. So they are thinking of me when they think of this solution.
Yeah. And they trust that you'll be back because you are consistent in all the other times. Kind of gives you some leeway to take a break every now and then.
Amen.
We were just talking about sales a little bit and how people buy from the people that they trust and that they feel like they resonate with and they like. You have this email staircase framework that kind of talks about converting those subscribers into customers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's really simple. It's just a staircase that you climb to get to customers. First, you have a follower, turn them into friends, then turn them into customers. So followers are getting people on your email list, right? The friendship starts with a welcome sequence, which I know Kristen has an amazing podcast episode with a copywriter. She'll link to the show notes in there for you. And then once you have a list full of friends, you can have a list full of customers. And this relates really well to the weekly newsletter conversation we've been having because you create that friendship within the newsletter, right? Again, you show you're invested, you become relatable, you stay top of mind. And within the newsletters themselves, how do we convert to customers? We can do a lot of soft selling in our newsletters. For example, if we sent out an email like, I just took my dog for a walk, it's raining. Anyway, I did manage to record this podcast without too much rain in the background. Check it out here. And then you say the topic, this topic is all about email marketing. We got Liz, You sign off, but you can soft sell. You can convert into a customer in the PS. PS, getting ready to get serious about your email marketing, check out my offer on X, or it could even be an affiliate link. Check out Liz's email marketing membership, right? Or you can even just do something I call a super signature. It's, PS, when you're ready, here are ways I can help you. And maybe you've got, your Etsy shop or, your own shop where you sell your printables and resources. Maybe you've got, a free resource like your podcast. And then maybe you've got a signature offer that's open enrollment right now and you put it right down there. But we can turn every newsletter into a sales email. No, it doesn't have to be this hard, pitch, but it can be a soft sell.
Yeah. And I love that we don't always have to be so actively selling things to still get our offers in front of people. And when it's the right person at the right time, they'll click on those little soft links too. It doesn't always have to be a big sales email.
Yeah, I love that. I always say, people don't buy when you sell. They buy when they're ready. For example, my sister and I, we have completely different buying action when it comes to getting gas for our car. I drive a 1989 Ford Bronco. It needs gas all the time. Also, I'm a single woman. I do not want to run out of gas on the side of the road. Right? I cannot stick my thumb out and just have somebody tow me home or whatever, right? That's a big vehicle. It's an expensive vehicle to tow to the gas station. My sister, on the other hand, drives a newer Volkswagen Jetta. She's getting 30, 40 miles to the gallon. She has a partner at home who, in a pinch could come rescue her, right? So the way we buy, the way we pass the local 7-Eleven is much different. I'm stopping in quite often. She's pushing it to the max, right?
That's me.
But that 7-Eleven, yeah, right. But that 7-Eleven is always open on the corner. I can pull in at any time and get the gas I need when I'm ready. And so that super signature Kristen and I were just talking about is really important. And I love that she said that because the right people at the right time, they're going to go into your email. Oh yeah, Liz said, I'm finally ready for that membership. I know it's at the bottom of her email.
Mm-hmm.
They can type in Liz, they can click on it, they can purchase when they're ready. Now that's savvy.
It is. And I have that in the bottom of my emails. I think it's been in there maybe a year now. And I get clicks every single email I send out. I'm not saying I'm getting millions of clicks, but there are clicks. Every single email I send out, I get clicks down there.
I love that. That's
and a
so
lot
exciting.
of times it's a click on something totally unrelated to what the email was about.
Yeah. You just never know when that person is ready, but it's our job, again, like 7-Eleven, to just be on standby.
Yeah. Just always available. And kind of like that gas station. I mean, I know exactly where and how far it is to the closest gas station if I am in a pinch, because I do run it down pretty low most of the time.
Oh my gosh, so funny.
I'm the one, my husband gets in the car and he's like, really again?
Yeah, I don't know how people live like that. I don't want to be anxious.
I blame a car salesman a couple of cars back who had me test drive a car with 7 miles to empty registering on the thing. He's like, no, we're fine. We're good. I'm like, are you sure?
Oh my gosh.
And I think ever since I've just, I don't respect it as much as I should.
Right. Kristen's like, that's a scam. That's not even true. The dealer told me.
Right. I'm like, look, it says I have 20 miles. I'm fine.
That's so funny.
But we always know. I know exactly where the gas station is. I know how far it is from home. And I know it's going to be there whenever I need it.
Right. And it's the same behavior in the inbox. Mm-hmm. If you have something like a super signature where you're over and over again, just, hey, when you're ready, because I know, Kristen's in my inbox. I know how to search for her and I know how to click that link. And I know this works because chances are, even in the last 30 days, you've searched for a bill. Oh, I got to pay my electric bill. I just type in, for me, I live in Florida, so I just type in FPL. It pops up. I click on it. I make sure, I got the date right and, the auto pay is set up, right? And so we always in our inbox are actively searching for solutions. We're trying to get our questions answered in the inbox. So the super signature is just a super low pressure way of selling and ensuring your customers can get what they want when they want it.
Yeah, I love that. And one other thing I've done with mine is I use it as a way to create a little awareness around maybe offers I have or things that I do that I don't talk as much about. So they're there and people see it in that signature. And a lot of times people have told me like, oh, I didn't know you did this, but I saw it in your email. I'm like, when did I write an email about that? Oh, no, it's in that signature. That's why.
Yeah, I love that. And because you never know when people are going to join your list. For example, I do a launch of a product 3 times a year, March, July, November. But if somebody joins right after the sale in July, I'm not talking about it for another 90 days. But if I had it in the super signature, hey, this is going to come up soon. This is going to come up. Oh, what is that? And, we can start opening up that conversation. And if I wanted to, probably just open up the cart right then and there.
Yeah. And I have definitely been known to do that. If somebody replies back to an email, if they take the initiative to say, hey, I really want this, even though it's not open right now, I have been known to open the cart for somebody who did that, who took a little, initiative to ask.
How savvy.
Right? So let's talk about another thing that we sometimes struggle with. In addition to sales, subject lines are so tricky because it sometimes feels like there's so much pressure around putting the right thing in the subject line to get someone to click and open.
Yeah, subject lines can be tricky, but I think they're often just overstated. I can definitely give you some tips on subject lines, but what I really want you to know, what I really want you to think about when you write emails is the from line. This is from Liz Wilcox, from Kristen Doyle, right? If you are, a customer of mine, you like my emails, etc., it doesn't really matter what's in the subject line. You see my name and you open. The same as what I just gave you an example. When I'm looking for my power bill, I literally told you I type in FPL. Mm-hmm. That is the from line. Yeah. I know I need those emails, right? If I'm searching for that product I'm finally ready to buy, I don't remember the subject lines of emails, but I remember who sent them. And so this is why weekly newsletters are so important. Again, because it helps us stay top of mind, right? And it gives us an opportunity every single week to make that personal connection, to show we're invested, to share in a relatable way. And that's very, very important to getting emails opened. More important, yes, than the subject line. So how the heck do we get the from line super like, oh yeah, that's Liz, I'm going to open that? Well, you have to create value in the newsletters, which we've already talked about respecting the inbox, get to the point, get out of there, share a story when you've got a really good one, leave it for next time when you don't, right? We've already talked about how to actually get the from line going. So any thoughts on that, Kristen?
Just one quick question, because I am curious what your thoughts are. I have seen people use just their name in the from line. I'll just use me as an example. So Kristen Doyle, just their name in the from line. I've also seen people use the name of their business. So my podcast is The Savvy Seller. I could do from The Savvy Seller. And I've seen people do some sort of combination of both. What are your thoughts around which one is better, if there is one?
Yeah, I kind of like the combo, but it really depends on what kind of brand and business you're creating. For a really long time, I've been creating a personal brand. So my emails just come from Liz Wilcox. But as I grow, as my membership grows, I'm becoming known for things outside of my name, right? I have a membership, email marketing membership. I have a Facebook group and podcast, email sound booth. So that might be something I need to consider if and when I get to that point in business where people are like, oh, that's the email marketing membership lady, right? So maybe I put Liz Wilcox EMM on there, right?
Yeah.
But in general, especially when you're first starting out, if you can get that name recognition, like Kristen and I both do in that from line, that works really well. But I would caution against just having like your business name. Like if Kristen changed it to Savvy Seller tomorrow, that's so faceless. And remember, we already talked about people want to buy from people they trust. So even large companies, I always recommend having someone's name in front. Like, for example, if we were Active Campaign, right, an email service provider, it will be, John from Active Campaign, right? So you know who it's from, it's a person. So I never recommend just having, I never would just say email sound booth, like my podcast name, right? I would just have, Liz from ESB or whatever, right?
Yeah, it just feels more personal, even if all you do is a first name.
Right. I mean, if let's say, I ordered something from the NFL, right? I'm really excited about the Super Bowl. My team's going in. If I had an email from the NFL, like selling me t-shirts, I feel like, whatever, I just bought one. I'm not going to open this. But if it said something like, Stuart from NFL, I'd be like, oh, Stuart,
right? Someone from
Stuart?
NFL
What's he got to say? Yeah, it's more personal. It creates intrigue in that case, or it creates familiarity. Oh, I know who Liz is. I know who Shahar is. I'm going to open that.
Yeah. Just builds that recognition again and that sense that you actually know this person a little bit.
Exactly. So I know that the original question was subject lines. So of course, subject lines, they're not right. They're not completely like a moot point. So we do need to still write subject lines as best we can. And what I recommend is just writing the subject line from the perspective of a friend, right? Follower, friend, customer, the email staircase, right? If I was just sending this to Kristen, if I was just sending this to you, what would the subject line be? I'm not trying to write something to grab attention on social media. I'm not trying to write something for SEO on Google or YouTube. I'm just writing this to my buddy. It might be something like, if it was my new podcast episode, it wouldn't be, 3 ways to repair a broken email list. It would be, got a broken email list, made this for you. Something like that. So it's much different than what I'm writing for SEO. So write to a friend. Write the email out. Think about what the heck is the gist? If I was just sending to Liz, what would I say put that in the subject line and go for it.
I love that thought process. I am going to definitely put that in practice when I do my email this afternoon, because I always get hung up on subject lines. I am guilty of A/B testing, even just on a weekly email, because I don't know what to say. And, maybe it can take a little pressure off and just write it like I'm writing to a friend. I love that. That makes it feel a lot easier.
Yeah, amen. And something I've been experimenting with just in the last 3 weeks is I'm trying this one word subject line, and it seems to be going really well.
I saw that.
I tell you, that's way harder than writing 5 words. And by the way, don't let your subject line be too long. It really, most people are reading on mobile. Mm-hmm. So if you can't read it in 3 to 5 sentences, or I'm sorry, 3 to 5 words, then it's too long, right? It's not a sentence. It's just meant to be a little blurb. So don't make it too long.
And it's probably getting cut off most of the time anyway, because like you said, we are mostly reading on our phone.
Exactly.
Love that. I did see your email yesterday or today that had the one-word subject line, and I'm very intrigued by this whole process.
I love that. Yeah, the purpose behind it is, especially right now, so we're recording probably about, 45, 50 days out from Black Friday. And so I just know everybody and their mother is emailing.
Mm-hmm. And it's all getting worse.
Right. And everybody and their mother has been taught, 3 to 5 words for a subject line. And so they all are kind of the same length. They're all kind of saying very similar things. And so I thought, how can I stand out? How can I just even visually look different?
Yeah.
And I said, just one word. So I'm experimenting with that for the next 30 days. And so far, my open rate has been slightly above my average open rate.
So interesting. And, it reminds me of what we get told about things like Facebook ads. Your ad image, whatever you're using for the visual, its whole job is to be a pattern disruptor, to be something different that stands out from everything else. And this sounds like a way to maybe test something similar in the inbox.
Yeah. It's definitely a visual cue. And especially for the people that have been around me for a long time, like Kristen, who noticed, that's just one word. That's different.
Yeah. What is Liz doing? This is different.
Yeah. What is she doing here? This is different. So it's a visual cue for people who maybe don't notice my emails usually. And it's a visual interest for people that always open my emails to, be very curious and more engaged.
So interesting. I love that idea. And I may have to give it a try at some point down the road. I don't know if I could pick one word. It does sound like it might be
It's
tough.
Hard. It's getting easier, but at first it's I could pick 1,000 words if I only have one now. And it's but you just got to pick one and go with it.
Isn't that true of everything? Just pick and go with it.
Amen. Yes.
We overthink too many things, I think.
We really do.
So speaking of overthinking, I know a lot of people just feel really overwhelmed when it comes to email marketing. I was actually just talking to a web design client who said she had some questions around her email opt-ins and things. And she said, it's just so overwhelming. What advice would you give, or what's the first step you would recommend people take if they're feeling overwhelmed with their email?
Slow down. You don't have to do all the things at once. And I want you to hear me. I know you're driving right now. Maybe you're doing the dishes. You got carpool, something. But hear me. And this is going to be so simple that I know you're going to remember it. You don't need to take notes. Email is actually not that complicated. People who have complicated products to sell you might tell you that. But email marketing really is only 3 components. First, it's that welcome sequence. And I know Kristen has an amazing podcast on that already that you can listen to. So get your welcome sequence done. Second, what we've been talking about for half an hour, weekly newsletters. Just send an email every single week. And the third component, of course, is sales emails. We talked a lot today about how to soft sell in your weekly newsletters so that, that part's pretty much taken care of, but also the hard selling, aka launching, flash sales, kind of a mini launch. You can do a full blown launch. You can do mini ones. You can do flash sales, and just really knowing when you're going to send those out. So again, email can be really simple. Just break it down into those components. Do I have my welcome sequence set? Am I writing consistent weekly newsletters that help me stay top of mind because I'm showing that I'm invested and I'm relatable to my potential clients? And then am I selling to them? Do I have that super signature? Did I write an email today with some tips and I can put a PS? Oh yeah, I have a whole workshop on this. Or, oh, I've got a bundle of templates you can buy for this on this topic, right? And then, do I have in the next 90 days a place where I could maybe launch a product and send out some sales emails 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row? So email feels overwhelming. I know it does, but I don't have anything expensive to sell you. And so I'm here to tell you, it actually can be really simple. And when you have those, when you lay those bricks, so to speak, welcome sequence, newsletters, sales, that's when you can start to, let's say, work harder, where you can start to bring in strategies, where you can start to say, maybe I need a funnel. Where am I going to place this and that? You can start to play with more buttons and pull more levers. But right now you need to just build the keyboard, so to speak. And if you don't have those 3 things moving and grooving very smoothly, then good news. You don't have to worry about all that other stuff you've ever heard about email marketing.
Takes a lot of pressure off to just focus on the main things and get that stuff all in place first.
Is that helpful?
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for this. This has been such a great conversation. Before we go, will you tell people where they can find you? And we'll drop links, of course, in the show notes.
Thank you. Of course, I'm an email marketer. I would love for you to join my email list. We talked about a lot today. You can go directly to lizwilcox.com. In the top right-hand corner, you're going to see a hot pink button. You can't miss it. It's going to give you, if you need it, a welcome sequence already written for you. It's going to give you 3 weekly newsletter samples directly from my membership. It's going to show you how to get people to click, how to get people to reply, and how to get people to buy directly from your newsletter. And if that's not enough, I know Kristen told me that, you have trouble with subject lines. So we're going to give you 52 subject lines for a year of free prompts. So that's all at lizwilcox.com, a hot pink button. You can't miss it.
And since you didn't say too much about it, I will share. I am in your email marketing membership and I absolutely love it. Highly recommend it. It has made writing those weekly emails so much faster and easier because I have that jumping off point. I have that template to get me started. But in addition to that, it's also made it easier for me to write even without the templates because the longer I've used them, the better I've gotten at writing those emails on my own, which is this whole other little unexpected benefit, I guess, because I've been practicing and now I'm getting better at it on my own too.
Yeah, I love that so much. Yeah, so the membership is only $9 a month. You get a weekly template delivered straight to your inbox. And I know Kristen and I have this in common. I am a teacher at heart. And so I love, love, love what she just said. And that's part of the design of the program and membership is the more you use mine, kind of the less you need to use mine in the first place. You build those reps. You're creating that pathway in your brain. So eventually, you can, flee the nest and do your own thing. So I'm so happy to hear that. I'd love for you to check out email marketing membership. Again, you can go to lizwilcox.com. There's a yellow button at the top of the screen for you to check it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing all of your email wisdom with us today.
Thank you. Can't wait to see what everybody does with email marketing.
That was such an awesome conversation with Liz Wilcox. I know you're walking away with some fresh ideas for how to make your emails feel more authentic, less overwhelming, and still drive sales. If you want to grab the free templates and tips that she mentioned, head over to lizwilcox.com and hit that hot pink button. You will not regret it. And if you're looking to sharpen your email skills even further and to get some weekly templates that you can use to write those emails, check out her email marketing membership. I've been a member for a couple of years now, and it has been a game changer for me. You can find all those links in the show notes for today's episode. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in your inbox soon. If you loved today's episode and want more where that came from, check out my Everything page. It's your one-stop shop for all things savvy selling. From free resources and templates to full courses and coaching, you'll find everything I offer to help your business shine in one handy place. You can also get all the details about my web design and WordPress maintenance services to keep your website as polished and savvy as your products. Just head over to kristendoyle.co/everything, or you can find the link in this episode's show notes. See you in the next episode of The Savvy Seller.